Hey there, thinkers. Welcome back to another episode of Critical Hit. My name is Est.
And my name is Ben, and today we're going to be discussing Rachel Zegler again, or we're discussing Snow White, but by default discussing Rachel Zegler in that, and a new rumor that she's now been fired from Snow White. So without further ado,
let's get into it.
So there's a rumor out there that Rachel Zegler has been fired as Snow White, and we tried our best, our darndest, to go and find where this came from. And so as you can see here, this is from SK Pop. They say, was Rachel Zegler dropped from Snow White? The Bar article claim explored. And in this article itself, it does talk about where it got its information from, and where the best source we think it got it from is Inside the Magic. Now, Inside the Magic is...
it's not reliable.
I would say it's very clickbaity. If you read Inside the Magic, you typically have to go about 6 or 7 paragraphs down before you even get to their story.
Yes. All the way at the bottom.
Yeah, and sometimes I actually kind of assumed they already implemented AI a little bit into maybe what they're writing. But this article itself has nothing really more to say except for that they couldn't find any reliable sources, which kind of got us thinking, where did Inside the Magic get their sources? So this is Inside the Magic, and as you scroll all the way down, we already did the pre-scrolling for the most part. Will and Russell. And now this is where I believe it originates from, because honestly, I can't find it anywhere else. And it's this gentleman on TikTok, and he says that Rachel Zegler's been fired. Now, I don't know if some other source has said it as well. We couldn't find it.
No, I can't find anything. It's only this.
But at the moment, as far as we can tell, Rachel Zegler, bad news, unfortunately, it seems to still be the Snow White. And honestly, I don't even believe it if she were, or people were saying she was fired. And more credible sources were coming out with that. And I would say that simply because Disney, number one, is very proud to have a Columbia actress playing Snow White.
Very, very proud. They can't backtrack on that.
Yeah, as much as they say they'll quiet down the noise with DEI, I don't think they're ready to go this far. And another big thing was they filmed most of this movie in the UK, such as the Marvels last one I covered, Pinewood Studio. And a big thing with the UK is you get back some, of course, that tax filming scheme, you get back 25% of the money.
Under the condition, if you do the theatrical release.
Well, yeah, it has to come, like you can't then claim a tax break, right? So they can't just throw it as a tax break, claim it as a loss, and still get that production value back. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of obligated at this point to put the movie out, because they've already got back quite a bit of money. So we're going to get into this article by Forbes. So like I said, a little bit of bad news. Rachel Zegler is sticking around, and I don't think she's actually going to be fired from Snow White. If you're hoping for that before the next end of the new year, or before Q1 of 2024, when it's supposed to come out in March, I think you may be a little disappointed, unfortunately.
A wee bit disappointed.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
But this one from Forbes we can talk about is a great article. It says, why Disney's Snow White, the remake, must gross $340 million. And so I don't actually think the $340 million is realistic, but I think that they did a really good job for a mainstream media source in this breaking down some of the numbers.
That is a very, very conservative amount.
Well, and I think they do a good job breaking down the numbers, and they actually do talk about distribution. They do leave it out marketing. But you know what? We're going to get into this article. So this one's from Forbes. It's from the September 21st. But the reason we're trying to tie this in is that if you don't like Rachel Zegler because of what she's doing, think about it this way. This movie's got to make quite a bit of money. So far, she's been in West Side Story. Mm-hmm. She's been in Shazam 2.
Yep.
And she had Snow White coming up.
Yeah.
Those two first ones, both flops. Now, she wasn't the main actor, but if you're paying so much for someone and they don't draw in the crowds, where's the added value? So at some point, if these flops continue to happen, I think we'll start seeing a lot less Rachel Zegler. Let's just put it that way.
I agree. She's pretty vapid anyway.
Yeah. So as we get into the article here, Disney's live-action remake of his classic cartoon Snow White will have to gross at least $336.4 million. As we said, so far, Disney has spent $209.3 million, or what they've said they've spent.
That's insane.
So far. And that is quite a bit of money. Now, this article is really good about talking about that 25% you get back. 25% from the UK government is reimbursement. So they're getting back, and this puts it very nicely, about $41.1 million based on that production budget in the UK. And yeah, that's a hefty budget. And, you know, if they are done filming at the moment, as long as there's no big reshoots,
But there have been reshoots, and there's been multiple reshoots, and they're even like going back to have more reshoots without Rachel Zegler.
And so, yeah, that will balloon the budget a little bit more. But actually, I'm not so worried about reshoots at this point. I think the majority of the film is done. I'm worried about post-production, and I'm worried about marketing. So I don't believe post-production's done. And now, this isn't a Marvel movie. We probably won't see as much CGI. But if they get carried away, like they usually do, Disney. Now, this is just a medieval movie, but if they get carried away, let's say with some magic out there, then we could see this start to balloon quite a bit. Get some really expensive CGI in there.
Well, yeah, that and, well, you know, magic is, you can't really see it.
Yeah.
CG that in.
And so, I know I read an article the other day, I'm not going to show it here, but another YouTuber called Valiant Renegade did a really good job of laying out how he thinks the budget's going to balloon to $300 million for Disney Snow White. Mm-hmm. Now, again, I don't think they're only going to get back 25% of that, though. I think they're stuck here at the $41.1 million, because that's what they're going to be the production value in the UK was. And so, yeah, let's take $41.1 million off of the $260 million.
Yep.
Or off of $300 million, gets us about $259 million there. Plus, you're going to throw marketing on top of there, and you might be right back up there at about $300 million. Maybe a little bit more. I mean, average rule of thumb kind of is you spend about half on marketing that you do on production, but that's quite a bit on production, and anywhere between 50 to 100 million is probably pretty reasonable on such an expensive movie. So let's say pretty conservatively, 300 million. You take 300 million, and it goes over it in this article. I'm going to let it explain it for us. So domestically, and this is from Forbes, movies get about 55% of the box office share. And internationally, except for China, but the rest of the world get about 43% cut. Now, that's not every studio. Some studios get a little bit better, some studios get a little bit worse. Disney's a pretty good studio overall because they release so many usual big hits, except for last year. Maybe AMC's going to hit them a little bit in the near future. But China, of course, takes about 80%. But in this case, they say, let's do about a 50-50 split, which is what we do as well, which is pretty fair. And so once you're looking at, and this is where I think the numbers they break down are pretty correct, except for a couple of minor things like the post-production and marketing. But they say it needs $336.4 million. And I'm going to tell you, instead of that 336, I think it needs somewhere closer between 600 and 700 million to break even.
100%. It's so inflated right now, and they don't even know what the end cost is going to be.
Possibly as high as 750. Like I said, we were a little bit conservative on the marketing cost there. But overall, it needs quite a bit. So Little Mermaid, it goes on to say, took home about $569.2 million. If Snow White does the same, I'm sure it will be touted as a success. But will it be a success? Absolutely not. And I don't think we'll be seeing Rachel Zegler in as many movies, especially if the new Mockingjay, what's it called? The Hunger Games comes out with her.
Yes, The Hunger Games.
She's been in lots of movies. So far, they've all been flops. We'll see what the new ones bring. But like I said, I think Rachel Zegler is going to stick around for Snow White, unfortunately. I know if you're hoping to get better news on that, you're not going to find it here. But good news in that this could be the final straw for Disney, Rachel Zegler. And I don't want to say the live-action remakes in general, but at least this is another far step in the wrong direction.
Honestly, I don't know where they're going with this anymore. Their movies have been flop after flop. I don't know why they keep releasing these.
I mean, when you make it so they need like $700, $800, even $1 billion sometimes to break even, you're just setting yourself up for failure.
And
get back to the basics.
Yeah, and these movies are just like so not on par with their animated selves.
Well, yeah, anyways, like I said, they just got to get back to the basics in this case, and really, you just got to stop pandering to a very, let's say, vocal minority that comes in and demands that you make your movie a certain way, because you're certainly driving away your core audience at the moment.
Absolutely.
But anyways, that's all I got. You got anything else?
No, I have nothing else to say.
All right, thanks for sticking with us. Let us know what you think. If you disagree with us on Rachel Zegler, let us know. Like I said, I couldn't find anything, but if we do find something, I'll keep you posted.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Doodles.
Bye, guys.